Hello students, yesterday we have seen the case of photodiodes and also the case of LEDs. So in case of LEDs, we have seen that we have to use their forward biasing of the PN junction diode to convert the electrical signal into light signal. So in case of LEDs, we can convert easily the electrical signal into the light signal by the process of recombination of electron and holes easily, and for that we need some specific type of materials, and that the reason behind that I told you already, why we have to use the gallium arsenide, gallium phosphide or gallium arsenide phosphide for the particular light for the particular region, because these materials actually they emits light, and if we are using germanium or silicon, they actually emit thermal energy. So we have to convert electrical signal into light signal. So there, if it is converted into the thermal signals, then that is not applicable for us. So that's why we cannot use silicon and germanium there. So some types of conceptual problems can be asked to you, why we can't use germanium and silicon to fabricate an LED. So you have to know about that, what is the reason behind it, and also why we can't use it in reverse bias. I have just told you that reason also. So basic facts, conceptual facts, so always try to understand it one by one. I have just even explained you the conceptual questions here. Still we are just doing revisions on the topics. So here the last topic of the chapter, that is the solar cells. So as we know already that solar cell can convert the solar energy or light energy into electrical signal. So this is the just reverse process of LEDs. In case of LEDs, we were converting the electrical signal into light signal. Here we are converting light signal into electrical signal. Means we just want to use the solar energy as it is freely available, usually available renewable source. Then we can use easily it to for the source or for the power supply. So because you know that we are facing the electricity problem, even in remote area we are not able to supply the electricity at hills, and there are so many places where the electric supply or poles we have to just assemble the poles for that. So that is not possible for that. So in that area solar cells can help us in many ways. Even also it can help us to save our fuels that we are using here this time for the production of electricity. So like this time we are just producing electricity with the help of dams. You know that the hydropower supply we are using, but still we can use solar power supply, and this time we are using that our airports, railways, and at so many places now solar panels are there for the electricity for the supply of electricity. So this is also a very important application of PN junction diode. You can say that. So these special purpose diodes serves a lot to us. This can help us, and also the fabrication is very easy. Its fabrication is easy, but still if you are thinking that solar cells or solar panels are very costly in our country, the reason is that solar panels and solar cells are not manufacturing here in India. We just import it from the foreign. So that's why the reason behind it, the taxes are just added there. So due to that reason it is costly here, but still if sometimes the manufacturing is started to here, then after that its cost is very low, because of we are using here the semiconductor materials to fabricate it. So it is very even easy to fabricate, it is not costly. So after that it will be cheap also, like the LEDs and other things we have already. So first of all, let's see what is solar cell and how can it convert the solar energy, light energy into electrical signal. For the conversion, as we want to convert to light energy or solar energy, then in that case into electrical signals, so we need a large number of charge carriers here also. The greater will be the number of charge carriers, greater will be the accumulation of charge carriers, greater will be the voltage that will obtain in the output. So we need here a large number of charge carriers, and you know that large number of charge carriers can be obtained when we connect any PN junction diode in the forward bias junction. So here, for the conversion of light signal into electrical signals, we have to convert solar cells into or a PN junction diode in the forward bias junction. So let's see its circuit diagram first of all. So for the circuit diagram, here a PN junction diode we have to take. So here a p-type material and n-type material we have just taken here, and also this is a glass plate that is mounted above to it, and this glass plate helps to just fall off light signals. As we know that refraction process will take place whenever light will fall on this glass plate. So for that reason we just mounted it for the greater absorption of the light or greater transmission of the light from here. So in that case, here the light signals that are incident to this plate, and also a metal contact that is connected at this plate. Through this metal contact, we just bias this junction or this PN junction diode in the forward ring. So P is connected to the positive and is connected to the negative. For stabilization, you can also use a resistance here. So this is the basic circuit diagram that we have to use for the solar cell. This is also very easy circuit diagram. If you just one thing just forget, then this is the just same as we have used it for the LEDs. So in case of LEDs, N-type, P-type material we have used, and also here we have connected it in the forward bias, and a resistance that was used for the stabilization of current or for the proper resistance we have to supply to the circuit. So this is the basic circuit diagram that we have to use for the solar cell. So here we are seeing that and the light signals that are incident on this glass plate. So when you know that when light incident on the glass plate, then it get transmitted from it if there is no interface. So after transmission, it will reach to this metal plate, this semiconductor material, and the phenomena of photoelectric emission that will take place from here. And for the phenomena of photoelectric emission, it is necessary that the light is, which is incident on it, it must have energy equal or greater than the work function of the metal. Obviously, to emit or to make the removal of an electron, it should have always greater energy, equal energy, so that electron can escape from the potential barrier of the metal. This can overcome easily the potential barrier of the metal. So due to that reason, we always need such types of light or whose frequency or whose energy should be greater than the work function of the metal. So a suitable light, if it is incident on it, then or it, actually for this purpose we can also construct PN junction diode in that manner, because here the light that is coming, its energy is, you know that its frequency is constant, its energy is constant. Then in that case we need to fabricate PN junction in the way so that band gap energy must be less than the energy of light rays. You already I have just told you about the band picture of solids. Obviously we know that here the valence band and conduction band. So if from valence band to conduction band electrons are just moving, then obviously conduction process takes place. Then what we have to do actually from the transition from valence band to conduction band, electron needed an energy that will be equal to the forbidden energy band gap. So if this energy band gap we always needed it for the production of electron hole pair. If one electron is transmitted from here, then a vacancy that will be created here. So an electron hole pair that will be created in the junction at that time. So for this region we always need to add energy that should be equal to the band gap energy. So if this band gap energy will be greater than the light energy that is incident on the glass plate, then obviously that light energy will not be sufficient to supply energy so that it can cross this valence band and reach to the conduction band. So we always need such types of material. As this is fixed, this energy is fixed, then we need all that material whose energy band gap is less, so that if energy band gap is less, then in that case it can be easily means this light can be easily produce electron hole pair in the junction. So I think the region for the using of certain type of material to fabricate solar cells, that is again that is clear to you. Here this energy is fixed, and definitely we have to take that types of material whose energy band gap is less than the energy of the light we are using for the production of electrical signals. Clear? And the second factor is that on which electrical signal depends on here, that is the absorption factor. So some of the materials can absorb light more rapidly, and some of the materials cannot absorb light in that way. So as the germanium has the smaller band gap, but still we are not using germanium for the fabrication of solar cells. So what is the reason? Here I have just told you we have to use such types of material whose energy band gap should be less than the energy of the light ray. Here nearly energy of the light ray is 5 electron volt. You can see 5.5 nearly. So we always need the energy which should be less than material whose band gap should be less than 5.5 electron volt. And for the germanium we know that it is 0.7 electron volt. It is very low, and even this light is sufficient for the production of electron hole pairs while when we are using germanium to construct any PN junction diode, but still we are not using germanium for the fabrication. What is the reason? This is also a conceptual question. So reason is that the absorption coefficient, absorption power of germanium is very low. Even light is sufficient to cause, sufficient to produce electron hole pair, but still the capacity to absorb the light, that is very low. And even you know that we always need such types of material for the solar cell that can absorb most of the light that is incident on it, because suppose that if there is the rainy season, winter season, in that we are already getting very small intensity, very light, then in that case we are getting already small amount, and also absorption is not good. So what solar cells that will not work properly, in that case means we will not get sufficient electricity from that material. So always we need such types of material which can absorb most of the light that is incident on this metal plate for the production of the electricity here. So I think these two factors are clear. These are contradictory factor actually, but still you have to think about it. Means always we need such types of material whose band gap should be less than from this energy of the light rays, and also we need a material whose absorption coefficient should be high. So for this type, silicon and gallium arsenide, that helps us for this region. Actually the band gap for gallium arsenide is 5.1 electron volt. It is quite high, but still its absorption coefficient is also very high. So light is also sufficient to cause the electron hole pair here, and also it absorbs most of the light that is incident on this. So this is the best material for the production of solar cells here. And also silicon is good for the absorption of the light, and also you know that the band gap here 1.1 electron volt, so that is also very low. So in that case, with the help of silicon or with the help of gallium arsenide, we can fabricate solar cells easily. So I think the reason behind why we are choosing specific materials for the fabrication, that is clear to you. And after that, let's see its working. How can light energy, light signal can be converted into the electrical signals here. So when light rays incident on this, then obviously when it will transmit it to this plate, then in that case, due to light extra energy supply, then at the junction here we know that here the acceptor ions and donor ions are here, and in that acceptor ions and donor ions there are a number of covalent bonds, and this light rays break the covalent bonds, as already we have chosen such types of material whose work function, whose band gap energy is less than the light rays we are using. So obviously this light ray will produce electron hole pairs near the junction, and that electron hole pairs that will travel due to the forward biasing, means they will cross the junction. Means if here you see that if electron hole pair will produce, then this electron electrons and holes also be here, and electron holes also be here, and due to forward biasing they will move in the both side, and for that region they will be accumulated here. So you can see that charge carriers are suddenly produced due to light rays, and they are accumulated at the junction. Means a potential is developed across the junction, and that potential energy is used for the electrical purpose. So this is the way we have to use for the solar cell. This is very easy, very simple. We are using the photoelectric phenomena for the production of electricity that we have used in the case of solar cells already. So this is the same way that we are using here. Simple photoelectric phenomena will take place, covalent bond will break down, and electron hole pairs will be produced here, and that charge carriers will be accumulated at junction, and due to that region, due to their accumulation of voltage will develop at the junction, and that voltage will serve the electricity purpose of ours. So this is the region, and also you can see that on which factor this electricity or strength of electricity that will depends on. So you know that the strength of electricity that will depends on the number of charge carriers, number of electrons, or number of holes. So number of electrons and holes that are depending on the intensity of radiation. So if greater will be the intensity, greater will be the number of charge carrier, greater will be the strength here. So that's why in summer days it is very easy to charge the batteries for the solar with the help of solar energy. But in case of winter and rainy seasons, as intensity of radiation that is low, and due to that reason, this is the means production of charge carriers that becomes low, and due to that the electricity that is obtained that is low that time. So we have seen what is the working of solar cell and how can solar cell works, and on which factor it is dependent on. Let's summarize it again. The first factor that the solar energy is dependent on are the electricity that is produced by the solar energy that is dependent on. The first reason is that we have to use such types of material whose band gap should be less than the energy of the light that is incident on the metal plates. Or obviously we are using the visible light for that, so in that case the energy should be or band gap energy should be less than that. So for that we can use the materials such types of gallium arsenide, we can use silicon, and also we can use germanium in that way. But still the second factor that we needed here, that is the absorption factor, absorption coefficient should be high also. Means the light, most of the light that is incident on it, it should absorb after that. Otherwise there will not be the proper conversion of proper production of electron hole pair here, and if charge carriers will not be produced, then obviously the electrical signal, strength of electrical signal, that will be very low, and we will not be able to use it for the huge scale. So the reason behind it, we need always such types of material for the fabrication of solar cells. The second factor on which the electricity, that will depends on the intensity of light. As you know that intensity of light, that is varying when season is changing. Means like in summer season intensity is very good, in case of winters and rainy season intensity is not that good, but still if we are using the material that can absorb most of the light, then in that case we can still charge our battery, we can use it for the production of electricity in that seasons also. But still the even you can compare if in case of winters and summers, then obviously in summer there will be the greater production of electricity with the help of solar cells in comparison to winter or rainy seasons. Clear? So the reason behind it, the intensity of radiation that is falling for the production of the electrical signals here. And the third factor, we need to bias it always in forward bias, otherwise it will not cross the junction, it will not accumulate there, and production of voltage that will be possible if we are using the reverse bias junction. So we don't have to use here reverse bias junction, we have to use always forward bias, so that the charge carriers that are produced here, that can be attracted, and with the help of the accumulation of there, we can just obtain the voltage signals, the electrical signals that we can use here. So I think the reason behind why we are just doing all these things, there is always reason behind whatever we are doing for daily life. So we need to always think about it, and why we are using, so why we are using only certain materials, why we are biasing it in the forward and reverse. I just explained you while we are doing revisions, then in that way I have explained you all the conceptual problems again, and I think all these things are now clear to you. And where we can use solar cells, you know that solar cells we can use to charge the batteries, and we can use that in nights, even also this time in traffic lights, at airports, stations, we are using the solar panels to convert the solar energy into electrical energy, and we are getting continuous supply of electricity with the help of it. And also we use in actually in many ways where we can use electricity, there we can use solar cells also. The same thing is that where you can use electricity, we can use solar cells there. It means if if we just arrange the number of solar cells, then that is known as solar batteries or solar panel. So with the help of number of solar cells or arrangement of the number of solar cells, then we can convert or we can get the electrical signals that has strength higher than the others, and with the help of it, even we can just supply voltage or electricity to whole of the area. And in remote area, even the solar cells, solar panels helps us to supply the electricity very easily. So this invention, this discovery is very important for us. Even we are not just this time able to make the availability of electricity at every places. So in that way, as you know that solar light and light energy that is available at every places. So if we provide just solar cells there, then with the help of that we will be able to supply electricity even in the slum area, in the remote area, anywhere. Means in every corner we can supply it very easily. So this will help us to develop our country easily. So you can understand its importance very easily. Even if you know the crisis of electricity, then you can understand then what is use of solar cells in our daily life. So I think is whatever I have just told you, I have just explained you, that is all clear to you. We have just started from PN junction diode, even band picture of solid, and after that the special purpose diode with the help of PN junction diode. I have just explained you 4 types of special purpose diodes we have discussed here, and 2 were working on the forward biasing, 2 were working on the reverse biasing process. And if you see the current voltage graph here, or sorry, intensity voltage graph here, then if you take intensity here is here, then here this graph is obtained in this manner. Means at even at 0 voltage we can obtain some here intensity of radiation, firstly that we can obtain it. So this is the intensity versus voltage graph for the solar cells. And also if you see the symbol of solar cell, the symbol of solar cell is this type, and here light energy that is incident on this. As you know that already we have used this symbol for the photodiode, this symbol. So if again we will use this type of PN junction, then that will confuse you. So that for less confusion, we have just taken the symbol of solar cells in this manner, and this symbol is for the photodiode. As in both of the processes we are using electrical solar signals, and we are converting it into the electrical signals. So the region and if I ask the difference in solar cell and photodiode, the difference is very clear. We are using photodiodes in reverse bias, this is we are using in forward bias, and here we are using it for the measurement of intensity. Here we are using it for the conversion of solar energy into electrical energy. So difference is very huge, as we are using different types of biasing here for the different purpose, but still we are using the same principle. Photoelectric emission principle, photoelectric effects we are using, that is the same principle that we are using for our purpose here. So that's why you don't have to confuse then what is the symbol of photodiode, what is the symbol of solar cell. If we have used already for the photodiodes, then for solar cells we have used this symbol. Clear, I think. And still you don't have to be confused because we are using here forward bias PN junction diode. So I think what we have just studied here for the revisions, I think that is all clear to you. Even we have just studied the case of rectifiers, and if suppose that if I just ask you some questions on the rectifiers, like in case of rectifiers we have used sine wave, alternating signals, but what will be the case if we will use for the rectifier, then if we are using square wave, triangular wave, can you solve it or not in that case? So you have to solve it also. In case of rectifiers we are using, you know that this photodiode, also a PN junction diode, and also we are using a transistor, so transformer here. We are using a load for the output, and here we are supplying just input. So if suppose that this input is of this form, this type of form is here. So if this type of wave is just applied at the input, then whatever will means what will be the output signal. This is a just question for you. You have to solve it. Then what will be the signal here? In case of half wave, what will be the conduction process for this diode? And for the negative half cycle, what will be the conduction? Actually, if you think just manually, then the process will be same, whatever will be the signal. For the positive half cycle, obviously this diode will be in forward bias, that will conduct, and obviously we will get an output just exactly as it was at input in the output. Clear? And for the negative half cycle, as this diode is in reverse bias condition, and also I have just told you for the fabrication of rectifier we have to use such types of diode which should be idle, and also means there should not be any current due to minority carriers. And second thing is that the breakdown potential that should be greater than the potential that is applied at the input here. So if breakdown does not occur here, then obviously in reverse bias it will be in non-conducting state. So for this signal it will not conduct here. So in the output we will get only the signal just like this, and again just like this. So this is the output of the this such types of square wave signals here. So if a triangular wave signal I will give, then in that case again it will conduct only for the positive half cycle, it will not conduct for the negative half cycle. So don't be confused while we are using only for the understanding level the sine wave here. If you use the square wave or triangular wave, the production or the manner will be same. For positive half cycle it will conduct, for negative half cycle it will not conduct. So I think the reason behind it, I think that is clear. So still let's end the chapter here guys with it. Let's end the class here also. Thank you.